Hey gang, John Backrella here with your Lake St. Clair Fishing Report, brought to you by Sportsmen's Direct. It's Thursday, May 29th. Water temperature at Belle Isle has rebounded a bit back to 58 degrees from like 55 last week, 54. And in the previous week, if you remember, it was like at 61, 62. So we're kind of inching our way back up to where we were 2 weeks ago. Temps in the shallows have been starting to get close to right around 60 degrees in the afternoons the last couple of days. So that's a big improvement. But we've still got quite a ways to go from where we were like a week and a half ago when we were hitting like 70 degrees in the shallows. So, and that definitely affects the fish. When you get like a 15 degree to some places on the lake, I've heard was almost a 20 degree temperature change when you get up on the north end of the lake, that had really warmed up and then really cooled down with that water coming down on a Lake Huron. That's a dramatic change for these fish. And for you guys that have been fishing out there, I know you felt it because the bite has really been off for some of the species, specifically the smallmouth bite has been way off. The walleye bite's been kind of hot one day, cold the next day, but the smallie bite's definitely been off. But it has been slowly improving every day for about the last week. And if you look back, I actually went back and looked at a chart for the temps for this month, and about 2/3 of the days this month were below normal. We had one little spike there, which was our temps, and then the previous month in April, towards the end of the month, we were quite a bit above average for several days. So that's what built into that, that big warm up that we had, and then Mother Nature gave us a dose of reality here, and the temperatures kind of crashed. Even killed my cucumber plants that I had planted out there, and I thought I was safe planting them that late in the month, but now I'm going to have to replant my cukes. No good satellite image to look at right now. I got one like 3 days ago, but we've had winds back and forth between then, so I'm not sure that it's all that accurate anymore. Basically, though, we've got a lot of clean water out there in the lake right now. Not a lot of real dirty stuff. So for the smallmouth guys, for the most part, I think visibility is pretty decent out there. When you get in fairly tight to shore, it's not just because of the winds keep turning things up a little bit. But that's cover for the different species of fish, walleyes, bass, everybody. They like getting in that off-colored water. So that can be a focal point for you. Walleye bite right now is still going very strong up on the north end of the Detroit River. So that's like up and around the Alta Road area going out into the lake. Probably from the bridge up would be the best way to describe it. And the bite's been really good. Guys getting easy limits of fish pulling nightcrawler harnesses in the river there. Here getting some reports of white bass, but not from the walleye guys. That's just from the guys that are actually targeting the white bass from shore. And that's, I guess, been steadily improving, but still not going full bore, which is, again, it's kind of late for this year. Normally this time of the year, Memorial Weekend, going into June, that white bass run would have already kind of peaked down there, and it's still really getting going, if it is going to get going, fully. So we have some years like last year where it really doesn't get going that great at all. So maybe it's just going to be another one of those years, but I'm thinking it's more weather related than the overall run. St. Clair River is really rocking on the walleyes. Whether you're fishing from shore, whether you're jigging, pulling harnesses, or whipping at night, the guys are all doing very well up there. And you guys know I follow Garrett Samsel, and that's exactly what he's been saying. He's going out with his clients in the morning, getting very easy limits of walleye, and then chasing smallies later in the day, because he's got plenty of time to do that when it takes you an hour or two to get, a 2 or 3 man limit for walleyes, and you got the whole rest of the day to chase smallies, which is one of the great things about Lake St. Clair, that you can actually do that. We are also getting some reports of walleye out in about 14 feet of water off of the beach, and still getting some intermittent reports of walleye in tight when that water clarity is reduced from, like when we get some blows, we get like an east wind or we get a north wind, and it stirs that water up close to shore, or you're in that water coming out of the Clinton River mouth or down there by the 400 Club in the spillway, in that dirtier water in tight to shore or on that transition zone, there's walleyes there as well. Now, there is another way to target walleyes out here that is a little different. And my buddy Jordan Slypeck, who is Big Chubb's Charters now, and I've known Jordan since he was a kid when he first started coming in to the store before he could drive at our original store over by Crocker Road. And Jordan is now a charter captain, and he's going to be kind of pioneering out here a little bit as far as chartering for walleyes. Whereas I know he's planning on using the new tech, the forward-facing sonar, and casting to the walleyes, and that is going to become a bigger and bigger thing out here and probably around the country too, with that technology, because not only are the guys using it for bass, but they're learning that they can do it for walleyes too, and it's very, very efficient because you can actually sneak up on those schools of walleye rather than driving the boat through the schools of walleye and spooking them or running boards through them. You cast to those schools, and you can really effectively target the fish that way, and you can learn a lot about the fish as well when you're watching that live sonar on those schools of fish. So hats off to Jordan, best of luck, and if you're interested in casting to these walleyes, give Jordan a shout. He's on Facebook, or you can get a hold of us at the store and we'll give you info on his charter service. Smallmouth bite, kind of alluded to it. It's been improving every day this week as the water temperatures rebound and they reach their highs late in the afternoon, but weather has still been a big problem. We still can't put together more than, 1 or 2 days of decent wind conditions out there. We keep getting these big blows, or we keep getting east winds, and we've still had some cold nights, but it seems to be at least moderating a bit now, where it's not getting as cold at night, so these water temperatures are starting to rebound. I'm not really, to be perfectly honest, guys are asking me where are we at in the spawn. We're probably better than halfway through the spawn, but I think we've still got a ways to go. A lot of those fish had really just come in and got really active, and there were huge numbers of fish in when that water temperature dropped. And so I know not all the fish came in. Guys that are catching fish right now out in like 10, 11, 12 feet of water, those are pre-spawn fish. There's some really heavy fish being caught out there that are pre-spawn. So I know they haven't all come in. I guess we're going to find out here in the next probably week or so how many fish are left to spawn, because they are going to come in, especially as we get into that warmer weather forecasted next week. Let's look at that weather real quick here. Tomorrow is going to probably be one of the best days as far as the winds go. And then it looks like Saturday we're going to have another north blow, and then it's going to stabilize a little bit. But the big news is going to be next week. It's going to warm up big time. It looks like we're going to finally get into some 80-plus degree days, and that is really going to drive those temperatures up pretty quick. So whatever is going to happen with the smallmouth spawn is going to happen, and it's going to happen fast. So the water temperature is going to rebound quickly, going to get into the 60s, and then we're going to see how many fish are left to spawn, and and then the activity level is going to go up on everybody, including the post-spawn fish as well. So, perch reports. We are getting some reports on the American side now. Actually had some reports from some guys that were smallmouth fishing off of Memorial Park down in the Mile Roads that were in like 8 feet of water. The water was off-colored, and they were catching a lot of perch on their drop shot rigs down there. So there's definitely perch on the American side. Getting some reports down on the American side of the shipping channel down near the dumping grounds, which is basically out in front of the yacht club, down there in about 14 feet of water. Big perch there, okay? And also, but most of the guys right now are running all the way across to the Bell River hump, or over there by out in front of the Bassett or the Weather Buoy area in the Canadian water. And like my buddies Nick and Mike Colombo they've gone out there a few times, and every time they're going out there just hammering these big perch. And they're not the only guys I know that have been going over there doing it, but I've heard it's just absolutely insane, and these pictures kind of prove it out. I mean, lots of 10, 11, 12-inch fish. I know another guy that's getting a 15-incher mounted from over there. Just tons of big perch over there on that Canadian side. But I'm guessing you guys start poking around here on the American side, you're going to start finding them. They should start showing up out there by the shipping channel. Dumping grounds for sure. If they're on the American side by the dump, I'm sure they're over in that northeast corner of the dump if those weeds are starting to come up. Although with everything else this year, I'm guessing things are going to be a little bit behind schedule with that water temperature falling off and all the cloud cover that we've had. That's not going to encourage weed growth, or at least quick weed growth. So I would imagine things are going to be slightly later than what they have been, just like the mayfly hatch or the fish flies. Normally, we would be starting to see some activity right now, and with that cool down, it stopped. If it would have stayed warm, I'm sure they would have been going already by now, but I'm thinking maybe by the end of next week, if the water does rebound quite a bit, we may start to see some activity that way, and that will help school those perch up out on those mud flats where those mayflies hatch. So I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. It's also going to get that top water bite going on the smallies as well. So that's the news on the perch. Panfish bites picking up. I got quite a few guys coming into the store right now that are chasing bluegills and pumpkin seeds in and around the canals and shallows. Same thing for those fish. With this warm up, that activity level is going to go up as well, especially spawning activity, which had started and then stopped. So I would expect that to start back up again. And same thing with the white bass. So we did get a report, a good catch of white bass off the point at Metro recently in the last couple of days. So, but those fish were not boiling on the surface. Those fish were down deep. And normally for me, when those fish are down like that, it's usually the beginning of the run for us when they're coming up here. Usually when you get enough of those fish up in the area and they start herding those bait balls together and driving them to the surface, when you get enough of those white bass in the area, that's when you know things are really going strong. But that was the first solid report that I had of good numbers of white bass off the point. So this next warm-up ought to get those fish going as well. That's all the report I've got for you this week. Reminder, starting probably next week and then for the foreseeable future, we're going to try to shoot these videos on Wednesdays. So that'll give you more time going into the weekends. And Joshua's schedule has changed a bit here, so we got to kind of roll with it. So we're going to be trying to shoot on Wednesdays, which will be good for you guys because you'll have the info out there earlier going into the weekend so you can plan. So get out, enjoy the warmer temps we've got headed our way, and we'll see you at the store. And that's twice I did that.
That was a little closer. I might not be able to edit that out.
Yep.
We'll see.
Hey gang, if you like our content, hit the little subscribe button and the bell icon, and you'll be notified as soon as we put out new stuff.